right, it's the 21st of April. It's a Monday, and we've got about just over 25 minutes to the NY Open. We'll go to the charts in a second. Just a second. Okay, yeah. All right, let's go to the calendar. Just a second. So no news this week, right? Um, is next week NFP? Yeah, next week is NFP. So next week is considered the first week of the month, even though there are about 3 days of trading left next week from 29th to 30th. It's still considered the first week of the month because we have NFP next week, right? So this is the last week of the month, right? So now usually last week of the month, third week of the month, fourth week of the month, we usually have low volume, right? But again, with the tariffs, with the news on the tariffs, any news on any deals being struck, any more tariffs being increased on countries will bring volume into gold. Okay, we've seen that in the last few weeks. So even though it's considered a low volume week, we might have we might have volume depending on tariffs, right? And we've already tapped 3,400. We just tapped 3,400, right? Now we've been speaking about this for the last 3 weeks. I think we've been saying prices heading to 3,500, right? If there is no news, if there are no deals being struck, there are no negotiations, then we're heading to 3.5, probably even higher, right? That's where gold is heading to. We had a nice drop about 3 weeks back, about a 2,100 pip drop, and then we've just pushed since then. We've pushed 4,000, nearly 4,500 pips, right? 4,440, nearly 4,500 pips. So that's about a $440 change in the price of gold. It's an amazing amount of volume for a 3 week push. Okay. All right. So let's just go up a time frame. Take a look at just a second. Yeah. Let's take a look at what price has been doing on the weekly. Now, we had a massive week a couple of weeks ago, 2,800 pips. Last week was also decent compared to these weeks. You can see um, how big a week this was, 1,620 pips, right, that week. And this week has just started and we've already moved 730 pips, right? Today is a Monday. In a single day, we've already moved 730 pips. Now, last week we closed above these levels, above 3286, above 3300. These are levels that we drew last week. These are weekly SR levels, 3286 and 3300. And we tapped 3,350, I think, on Thursday, but we just fell short of it. On Friday, there was no trading because the gold markets were closed. At least on IC markets, they were closed. So we did tap 3,350 on Thursday. Then we pulled back a bit, and today we've just gone past the previous day, or at least Thursday's high, and we've tapped 3,400 already, right? So we are very bullish. We're looking for buys, but we need to see pullbacks on the low time frame to get in on those buys. Let's go to our trading chart. So there was nothing on Friday, so I'm not going to do any recap because there was no trade on Friday. On Thursday, I can't really remember. I think we took sells. Yeah, on Thursday, I think we took sells somewhere here and price did come to our TP levels. Yeah, these are the TP levels that were given, 3,300, 3,309, 3,313, 3,317. I did take the trade on streams. Yeah, now I do remember, I think I got in at at this candle high when price pulled back into the liquidity candle, when the 15-minute candle pulled back into the liquidity candle, I took a trade at this high and I took a trade again at this high, and price did drop to the final TP, which is about 320 pips away. That was 3,300, right? But along these TPs, I did take partial positions: 3317, 3313, 3309, and then finally 3,300, and we went further down, and we created 30-minute support at the tradable 30-minute bull candle close. We created 30-minute support, and price went all the way back. So from the pullback here, it went up 1,000+ pips, right? And this is why we draw these liquidity candles, because it's so important. Price comes, taps it perfectly, right? Forms 30-minute support, there's a bit of a pullback, and then price goes up, right? So if you want to trade it, if you want to trade the buys on Thursday, after this candle was closed, this candle closed at 18:30 IC market server time. You would go to the 15-minute chart after that support was created. This was the candle close, 8:15, and then you would draw the fib. This is how you draw the fib, right? Because you want to see two previous M15 breaks. This was the most recent break. It broke this low, this broke this low, right? So from the high of that candle to the lowest low, and perfect tap, optimal entry 3294, perfect tap, right? Because this was the candle close, this was 30-minute candle close, and stop loss would go under that 100 pips, and we ran 1,000 pips, right? That's how you would take that trade. I didn't take that trade. I took the sells, and I called it a day. I called it a week, actually. On Friday there was no trades. Okay, let's get rid of all of this, and let's start our process all over again. The analysis, okay? We're a little behind on time today, but we're going to do the best we can. But today is a Monday anyway, so we're not going to force any trades. Okay. There is no supply, obviously, because we're at all-time highs. We've just broken the current high, so there is no supply at all. Even on the 1 hour, you'll not find supply. Even on the 30-minute, you won't find supply, because price has just broken the current high, right? And we're going past 3,400. Now, to getting on the buys, we need a pullback. So let's start with our zones. This is a liquidity grab, right? On the daily, on the high time frame, that's a liquidity grab from a liquidity candle. So we want to look for probably today or tomorrow, or maybe even on Wednesday, there should be a lower time frame liquidity grab. I always say this: once price makes a high time frame liquidity grab like it did at 3286, there is also a liquidity candle there and a weekly SR level right there, right? If you go down here, we haven't marked that 3 on this candle. 3286, 3286. There you go. 3286 and 3244, correct, yeah. So it tapped the liquidity candle, plus it tapped a weekly SR level, and we have a high time frame. You can see it on the 4-hour, you can see it on the daily, right? That wick is 200, nearly 300 pips. Let's see on the daily. Yeah, that's a 425 pip wick on the daily, right? That's a liquidity grab of a liquidity candle and a weekly SR level. Now, over the next day or two, we should see a lower time frame liquidity grab for that continuation for price to go higher. Okay, right. back to our demand zone. So here we have, yeah, we're going to have to mark this as demand. That's a massive zone. It's 600, almost a 600 pip zone. Yeah, we'll have to look. So this would be the this is obviously the leg out on the 4-hour time frame. That's the leg out. One second. I hope I'm audible. If the audio is good, if you can hear me clearly, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So that's the leg out. I always say, if when in doubt of how to draw these zones, first look for the leg out and work backwards. So we look for the leg out. That's a leg out. That's a clean move outside of the zone, a big move out. And then you have the base in candles, right? You start working backwards and you find the leg in. So this would be the leg in, because this candle has more collective wick than it has body. So that's the zone. So let's put the numbers on that: 340 and 373. 340. Okay. Thanks, Philip. So that's a 4-hour zone, right? So yeah, price is not going to come down 1,000 pips today. So let's just, yeah. Okay, that's good enough. There's a 1-hour demand zone that price went through. Yeah, get rid of that. This is 1-hour demand. It's 4-hour demand. It's a high liquidity zone because price hasn't gone through entirely the zone yet. It hasn't crossed the 50% mark. Yeah, right. Now let's take a closer look at prices gone through cross a BRN, or a psychological round number, when price does that, and even here, right? We're going to take a look at these two areas on the lower time frame. Let's start with the 1 hour. Yeah, this candle has just 12 minutes to close. It's very likely going to close above, so we're going to get a zone here. But here there is a zone, right? Let's take a look at it on the 30-minute. Yeah, that's pretty clear, right? That zone's obvious. So that would be the rally, 3 base in candles, and a rally, right? And the, yeah, price is just flying right now. 902, 903, 078. Okay, let's bring this down. Seven, eight. Okay. That's M30 demand. Save this. Okay. Now we'll have to wait for the candle to close in 10 minutes to draw this zone here. The candle hasn't closed yet. So even if you look at the 30-minute time frame, there is a zone. There is, you could say, yeah, this could all be a zone. That's one big zone. It's a 260 pip zone. This would be the rally. These are all basin candles. Starts with this and goes all the way here. Or you can draw these as separate zones, as this is a drop and that's a base and that's the rally. But you got to wait for this candle to close, right? So until this candle closes, we can't do anything. We just have to wait, right? And then we will draw this zone either here or to cover the entire area. We'll take a look at it, a closer look at it probably later on. Okay, just wait for about 9 minutes for the candle to close. Okay, now let's take a look at this area and check if this is a high liquidity zone. Let's go to the 30-minute. This is the first zone. So we have a rally, base rally, and we have supply here, rally, and there are some basin candles and a big drop here, and that would be the top of the base, and that was taken out by this, right? By this move up that started here. You can see this high taken out by this candle. So this is a high liquidity zone. So I'm going to just bring that label across. And then the zone below, this zone, yes, there was supply here. There is a drop, there's a rally, two basin candles and a drop, and this candle took out this high, right? There's also a drop, several basin candles here and a drop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 basin candles and a drop, and this same candle took out this high and it took out these highs, right? So this too is a high liquidity zone. This 4-hour zone is a high liquidity zone, right? Okay. Next, let's look for a liquidity candle in the closest demand zone, right? Now there are several liquidity levels before we get there. There is the there is a BRN right here. That would be 1. This would be 2. This would be 3. There's another BRN that would be 4, and then is the zone, right? So we need to still check, is there a liquidity candle in that zone? Okay. So we're looking for the largest candle on the 1 hour. There is nothing. On the 30 minutes, there is nothing there except for this big candle right here. Now it's very likely that there are very likely there are more than one. I don't want to say 2, but there's more than one liquidity candle in a zone this big. That's a 568 pip zone, right? That's a very large 4-hour zone. So it's likely that there are more than one liquidity candles in that zone. So let's start here for this zone. Let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. So the largest candle here would be this one. That's 148 pip candle. Yeah, that's much smaller. Let's start there. Let's go to the 5-minute. It's 109 pip candle. Yeah, we'll keep it on the 15-minute, because if I bring it here, then it's under the BRN, right? So let's keep it at the 15-minute, right? So that would be the candle. That's 254797. 254797. Okay, that's for that zone. Now let's take a look at the zone below. Right, we're looking for the largest bull candle. There is that. That's 294 pips. It's smaller. It's also smaller. Yeah, we'll start here. Check the 30-minute. $215. 152. 181. 188. 215. 96. Yeah, this candle here. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. 187. 47. Yeah, this would be the candle. Oh, 180. 193. Yeah, yeah. This will be the candle right here. 310. 111. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you break this, we should drop another 275 pips down. Okay. Those are the zones. Now, again, we got to wait for 2 minutes for this candle to close, but seems like we're going to close above, so we're going to probably draw that zone now. Yeah, so there's no supply on the chart today at all, just demand zones. So just zoom out. These are the zones, right? So we have a new zone here. We'll probably have a new one here as well. And these are high liquidity zones, and we've identified the high liquidity candles in these two zones. There's one here, there's one here. Yeah, we've got 2 minutes. We can draw the zone now because I doubt it's going to close below. Yeah, it should close above. Okay, so let's look at the 1 hour. I think we can draw it on the 1 hour. Yeah. Yeah, this is a rally, two basin candles and a rally. This candle is about to close in a minute, so it should close above. So that would be the leg out. That's a rally, two basin candles and a rally. There's a 1 hour demand zone here, but here also there's a rally, two basin candles and a rally, right? And there are two candles moving out of the zone. So this two is a demand zone and it's overlapping that. So yeah, I'm gonna include them into one. I'm gonna make these two zones one. There's a rally, two basin candles and a rally. Two candles moving out. Both these candles are moving out of this zone. This is the zone. and then there's a rally, two basin candles and a rally. So I'll include them into one zone. And below that, there is a rally, three basin candles and a rally. Yeah, this candle closed above this resistance, so above the base. Let's bring it down so it doesn't overlap. Let's take a quick look at it on the 30-minute. Yeah, I'm going to include this because this is the source, a rally-based rally, and this is a reaction. This demand is a reaction to this source. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's put the numbers on this. Let's bring this up here. 585, close 586, 586, and low is 187. 586. Okay. Yeah. That's a 1 hour demand zone. And then here, its low is 187, 747. There's another 1 hour demand zone. Okay. Right. Now here, is this a high liquidity zone? Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. There is, yes. So there is a rally, a base, and a drop here, and this move up took out that, right, from this zone, and it dipped back into it. So this too is a high liquidity zone, and this zone here, yeah, there is supply here, a rally, a base, and a drop, and this move up took out those highs. This too is a high liquid zone. It's visible on the 1 hour time frame. All right, let's take a look at these two areas for liquidity candles as well. So on the 1 hour, we're looking for the largest bull candle. That's 109. It's 102. Let's go to the 30-minute. There's nothing on the 30-minute. Eighty pips. Let's go to the 15. 71. 61. Let's keep it on the 30-minute. 106,246. Yeah, there's a tap there into the liquidity candle. 61. Yeah, keep it on the 15. 966. Yeah, it's better. Okay. Zone below 113. 113 pip candle there. 10, 103. 83. 104. Let's go to the 15. Yeah, I don't see a liquidity candle here. It's just price just ranged up. It's a 100 pip candle. Let's look at the 5-minute. Then 18. Yeah, it's down here. Somewhere here. Yeah. 88. 81. 3. 101. 82. Yeah, I'm going to keep it on the 1 hour. 867, 747. Okay, that's it. Okay, we'll take a quick look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions now. So those are the zones. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 new zones and 4 high liquidity candles for today. No supply at all. Let's go to the 50-minute chart. Let's see where the market opened. That's the market open right there. So the market opened at 333.33. 3,333. That's the market open. Pushed up. Yeah, we're pushing up. We're not coming down today at all. We're pushing up. 10, 605. Yeah. Okay. 398. Okay. So Asian session, we moved 400 plus pips, 410 pips. And in the London session, 139, not much, which is range in the London session, right? So let's take a closer look at what price did. So we were bullish on Thursday because we created support. We spoke about this at the beginning of the session. What price did? We created support here. We tapped 3286 and the liquidity candle created 30-minute support. Price dipped back to the optimal entry and went straight up. So we were bullish on Thursday. On Friday, the market was closed. So the market was bullish in the previous session, right? To the Asian session. The previous session would be Thursday's second half of NY session, right? That would be the previous session to today's Asian session. So we were bullish. Price opened here, tapped 3350, pulled back a bit, created the Asian low. Let me zoom in a bit. Asian low closed above. The reason I took this low, this is the low before the candle closed above. So this is a more significant low than this because this one didn't. Price tapped it and rejected. This one pushed down. That's a low. So you can consider this a M15 swing low because price tapped and pushed down. You can see the V shape at the bottom. That's a swing low. Price came, so we created a liquidity candle here on the way up when we tapped 3350. We pushed up, we came, grabbed liquidity again from that candle, then we closed above 3350 and above the liquidity candle. Pushed all the way up, so that's a about 415 pip push up. On the way up, created one more liquidity candle here, went up, created the Asian high, came, tapped the liquidity candle, came back to the Asian high. There was no volume then after that to continue higher. Came back again, tapped the liquidity candle, came deeper into the liquidity candle, went, tapped it, pushed back, closed above, closed at it, then closed above, went up, created the London high. On the way up, created a liquidity candle here, and went up, created the London high, pushed back down, broke below that liquidity candle, grabbed liquidity, tapped the London high, ranged for a couple of hours, pushed back into the liquidity candle, grabbed liquidity, went closed above 3,400 at pre-NY, right? This is a close, this is inside pre-NY hours, that's inside 1400 IC market server time. We've closed above. Now, let's look at this. We've closed above the London high and we formed 30-minute support inside pre-NY. So we've already formed support. We've already tapped the liquidity candle. So price does not need to come back down to tap the liquidity candle anymore, right? It can, but it doesn't need to because it's tapped it already inside of the London hours. It's tapped the liquidity candle, right? And we formed 30-minute support. So here's what I'm going to do. 14, 15, 14. This candle broke this low. Yeah. So I want to see price come maybe tap the London high, create another M15 low, new low. So we push down, so then obviously we'll break another low. Then I'll draw my fib because I already have a low broken here. This candle broke this low, and 30-minute support is already formed. What's this low? This low is 174, 173. So we have broken this low, but still, I want to see a candle come further down, right? It should break this low and should come further down. We should probably even come past 3,400. Should tap this area. Once we come and tap this area, probably around 3397, 3397, then I'll draw my fib, right? And this would be the first M15 low break. This low, yeah, was inside IC market server time. We broke this low, the previous low. Once it breaks another low, then I'll draw the fib and we can look to take buys for price to push further up. Now, where is it going to go? We don't know because we have no price action to the left. So depending on the fib, however the fib is drawn, the start of the fib will be at the most recent high of the candle that forms a new low, and the lowest low is this, right? So we'll have to wait for this candle to close so that we know where to place this fib, and then your TPs will be at the 3RR levels and the 5RR levels, wherever they form. Okay, I hope that's clear. We're looking for buys, we're not looking for sells, because there is no supply to look for sells, right? There is no supply, there is no liquidity candle, there is no supply, there is nothing, right? So we're looking for buys, but this candle has no bottom wick. This is a 15-minute candle and also 30-minute candle, right? No bottom wick. So I'd like to see price come and ideally break below that low and then we push up. That's what I'd like to see. All right, but we've already formed 30-minute support, which is a good sign. So we are pushing up. Just need a pullback before we get in on those buys. Safer stop loss will be under the liquidity candle, always under the liquidity candle. Even though it's broken, it will be under the liquidity candle. Right? Let's go to the 1 hour. Yeah. Safer stop loss is always under the liquidity candle. A more aggressive stop loss once can be under the fib, at the end of the fib. Right? So we have to just patiently wait for price to pull back and tap this area. Yeah, I'd like to see a tap of the London high before we take the buys to go up. Yeah. Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far? Feel free to drop a question in the chat and I'll do my best to answer. If price continues to push up without a pullback, that's fine. There's not in a, I'm not desperate to take a trade today. It's just a Monday, right? It's got to, once I visualize something, that's what I want to see happen. If price doesn't print that way, if it doesn't print what I've visualized, that's not my trade. It's very simple. There are many trades that happen on the chart, hundreds of trades a day. I don't need to be a part of all of them. I just have to be a part of the trades that fit my trade plan. And the trade plan I've written, I trade in a certain way that my trade plan, I'm able to visualize what I want to see. So I want to see, like I said, a 15-minute candle break um, a new low, probably come tap this area, the London high, or maybe even this high around 3397 or 3398, and then draw the fib and look for the pullback and the trade, right? If that doesn't happen, that's okay. Looks like we are pulling back now. Yeah, we're trying to push down. If this candle closes bearish, this 5-minute candle closes bearish, we should come straight down. It needs to close bearish. It needs to close a strong bearish candle. And then we should just continue down. That's when we wait for the 15-minute candle to close. Then we look for a trade. We look for buys. Just give me a second. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. The candle, we have about 7 minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. We've got about 3 minutes for the candle to close. We're going to wait for the candle to close. Now, if price comes and taps this, I'm going to take a trade, right? Even before the candle closes, if you come and tap here, I'm going to take a trade at the London high. We'll have a larger stop loss right now, but we'll obviously we're going to manage risk, right? And we'll discuss the levels. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an entry here. What is this open? Closes 586. Close 588. I'm going to place at the trade there. So I placed a entry at the London high. Placed a pending order there at the London high. 33.96, just under 33.96. Yeah, see this candle closed strong bearish, so we should continue down, right? We should continue. Might have a pullback, but we should continue down. If it doesn't continue down, push us up, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not going to chase price at 3,400. Although, yeah. Let's see. Let's wait for the candle to close. Let's wait for the candle to close. It's got a minute more. Got a minute more. Yeah. The candle is closing in a minute. So this candle has broken this low. And the next, what is this low? 173, 174. This has broken by a point. Yeah, that's okay. We'll keep it like this. And I have a pending order here at the London high, just under the London high. Yeah, that's just under the London high. Stop loss would be under this candle here, under this wick, or maybe under the liquidity candle low for now, and we'll manage risk. But we should, yeah, we're closing bearish. We should come down. Should come down. Yeah, we're coming down. So this low is 642, 788, 642. Mm-hmm. I'll take a trade here. If we tap 3,400, I'll take one trade here. Place a pending order right there. Let's take one trade right there at 3,400. Let's see if we tap it again. But I think we're coming further down. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Got one position here. That's a pending order here, 3,400. One at the London high, just under the London high. If you come deeper, take one here as well. And we manage risk. Once, yeah, once the trade is triggered, we'll manage risk. Yeah, this is how you would manage risk as well. If a candle closes, if it breaks this support here, 3389. If you break that support, 3389, you'd close partial positions. If a 15-minute candle closes below that, then you close everything. 3389. But we have to wait for the trade to get triggered yet. Yeah, we're pushing up now. Yeah, we're pushing up from 3400. Let's see. Maybe price is not coming down, which is very bullish. Yeah, I didn't even come to the 1 hour demand zone. So 1 hour demand zone didn't even come there. It's just short of it by 20 pips, but 19, 20 pips. That's okay. Yeah, we tapped 400 and moved almost 50 pips. Yeah, 47 pips. Yeah, we're pushing up. We don't know whether we're going to come back down. We are closing above. The 50-minute candle is closing above. Hmm. Yeah, we should come to 3417, 3417, 3418. 3418 should come to 3418. The close above, I think we should come to 3418. And I don't think we're coming back because we're closing a 15-minute bull candle, tradable bull candle above 3,400. Price didn't come here. We fell short by about 20 pips. Yeah, 20, 22 pips. That's okay. Yeah, closed above no top wick, but that's a tradable 15-minute bull candle close above 3,400. And we've broken the 30-minute high. Just broke the 30-minute high. So we should be continuing up to 3418. 3418. Yeah, price should come to 3418. Then if there is volume 3427, then if there is still volume 3437. Those are the TP levels. I didn't get on this trade because just didn't price didn't pull back to my entry, and it didn't even pull back to 3400 again. It just tapped it with the open. This was the candle open, 15:30 IC market server time. That's the candle open, 15:30 IC market server time. Didn't come and tap 3400. That's the candle open. This is the candle close. Sorry, this is the close. This is the open. So push straight past, didn't tap, come back to tap 400. Yeah, we're pushing up. We're not coming down. That's it. 3418, then 3427. That's all right. There are days that just price doesn't pull back enough to getting on entries. That happens to me often, and I'm used to it. I wanted a tap of the London high once more because we closed above. I wanted a tap of the London high. Right, we came close to this level, 3397. We spoke about 3397, but we didn't come there. We came very close to it. And then I placed an entry once the candle closed. I placed an entry at 3400, but the candle pushed. It never tested it again. It never came back, even on the 1 minute. We went straight up, closed above. We didn't come and tap it again. I placed this trade once the candle closed above, but we didn't come back. And now we're pushing to 3418. And then once we close above, if a 15-minute candle closes above 3418, we're heading to 3427. It's 187, 180, 180, 180 pips, 185 pips, and then 275 pips. This is the last week of the month. I don't force trades in the last week of the month. Now, that's usually what I do, but then this week, this month is different. Last month is different. We've been having trade wars, so things are different. So there is liquidity in the market, but usually last week of the month, there's not much liquidity on gold. Usually, 80% of the time, 85% of the time, it's less liquidity. But because we have trade wars, the situation is different. We have a lot more volume in the market. Um, we have 1,000 pip candles are the norm now, right? 1,000 pip candle is just a very normal thing. So all 1,000 pip candles today also very likely, yeah, very likely going to get to 1,000 pips today as well. Easy 1,000 pips. We're just about 180 pips short of less than 180 pips short. We've got to 815 pips already, so just about 180 pips more to go, and that's very, very doable. That's 74, yeah, 163. Yeah, we should get to about 900 pips, easy 950 pips today, easy daily candle. Um, yeah, so that's, you can see these candles, right? Since we started this trade wars, which was at the beginning of April, right? You can see these candles, 1,000 pip candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 today. This was a 1,000 pip candle when he won the election, when Trump won the election. This is a 1,000 pip candle when price came back to that area to retest that demand zone, daily demand zone, which was at 2715. We tested it, pushed back 1,000 pips down, and ever since then we've just been pushing up. Look at that move, 8,245 pips to 8,250 pips from here. Since that pullback down, price came, tapped this daily demand level, 2586, and look at where price is now. Heading to 335, heading to 35. So that's a liquidity level, 3,400. So price tapped it, grabbed liquidity, pushed all the way up, right? These are liquidity levels. Any one of these 5 areas. So that's the first. Price came, we are very bullish, tapped it, grabbed liquidity, pushing up to 3,418. Yeah. So this candle, this M15 candle broke this low. This candle broke this low by a point, by 1 point, not even a pip, by a point. That is 40173, and this is 40174 by 1 point. Sorry, by a pip, by 1 pip. Yeah, by a pip, 1 pip. Broke this low by a pip. Yeah. Yeah, almost there. Get into 3418. Just 40 pips away, 44 pips away. This makes no sense keeping these pending orders. I'm going to delete the pending orders. Yeah, just there. About 20 pips away, 25 pips away. Price did. We had form 30-minute support, pre and Y, so that was perfect. So it was buys. M15, this candle broke this low, this one broke this low by a pip, and price grabbed liquidity from 3,400 and is pushing all the way up to 3,418. Would be partial TP, would be your first TP level, right? So that's about a 180 pip push, and this stop loss would be placed under this candle. It's about a 18 pip stop loss, 18, 19 pip stop loss, but it didn't trigger my trade. I placed an entry here, price closed above, and then didn't dip back in to trigger my trade 3,400. And we're pushing up. There we go. Almost there. We're gonna tap it now. 9 pips away. This is probably the candle. It's gonna get that. There we go. 3418. High 341762. Just there we go. Tapped it. 3418 tapped. Right. So unfortunate. Buys didn't get triggered here, but price did move 186 pips from entry, but it didn't trigger. But that was a trade. This was a beautiful trade. Just unfortunate that we didn't trigger here. If it has volume, price will continue to 3427. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to be here for any longer. The trade played out. I just unfortunate not to get entry. We should be pushing up to 3427 now. If we close above this, a 15-minute candle closes above 3418, then we're heading to 3427, and then 3437, and then 3450, right? Those are the levels. It's very likely we have volume. We've done 900 pips already today. I should be able to do another 100 pips pretty easily. Yeah, we should get here easy. 3427, 3430, pretty easy. And that should get us to about 1,000 pips. Okay, all right. So that's the end of the stream. No ideas for later on because it's just buys, right? You want to look for a trade later on for the next, let's say, after NYSE open. That's when you want to probably look for a trade. This candle is, yeah, the 4-hour candle is going to close in about an hour. So you want to wait for the 4-hour candle to close before you do anything, right? If you want to look for a trade later on, wait for the 4-hour candle to close. That's going to close in 57 minutes, almost an hour. Wait for the candle to close. Wait for a pullback. Maybe 15 minutes support to form because price is far away from the EMAs and we're very bullish. So you don't need to wait for 30 minutes support to form. Wait for 15 minutes support to form, a 15-minute tradable bull candle to close, Draw the fib, take the trade, right? And this stop loss would be under the 15-minute candle low that created support, and these are your TP levels: 3427, 3437, 3450. Those are TP levels. No sells. Can't take sells because there is no supply, there is no liquidity candle, there is no high liquidity zone, there is no liquidity level to take sells from. There is nothing. It's just clean space to the left, price to push up to these TP levels, right? Okay. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get a trade, but that's absolutely okay. That happens. Price doesn't sometimes pull back when it's very bullish. Just pushes on. All we can do is just wait at our levels, right? We had a pending order here, didn't get triggered. That's okay. Had a pending order here, that didn't get triggered either. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow 7:30 a.m. EST, and we'll do analysis. And yeah, do we have news? No, there's nothing tomorrow. There's no news this week. There's nothing this week. On Thursday, we have unemployment claims. That's at 8:30 a.m. EST. We'll wait for that for Thursday to take a trade for news, but that doesn't mean that that news is important. It's not an important news event. We're just going to wait for that because that's just 30 minutes after the NY Open, so it makes sense to wait for news. But other than that, there are no news events this week, right? So how long have I been here? An hour 30 minutes. Yeah. So okay, I'll be back tomorrow 7:30 a.m. EST. We'll do our analysis and see if we have a trade setup for the first couple of hours of the NY Open. All right, take care, stay safe. It's a Monday. Don't try to overtrade or over risk. Um, be careful. There's an entire week left. And don't try to go hard this week. As I said, this is the last week of the month. Wait for next week. Next week is the first week of the month, right? Those are my favorite times to trade, time of the month to trade. And I've been trading for gold for a very long time, for many years. It's the first 2 weeks. So next week is CPI week, and the week after that, sorry, the next week is NFP week. That's April, and then we have another news week. The second week of the month is the federal funds rate. So there's going to be volume that week. So the first week we're going to have volume because of NFP. The second week of the month we should have volume because of the federal funds rate and the FOMC meeting minutes. And then this should be CPI week. Yeah. So this is CPI week. The third week of the month is CPI week and retail sales. That should have volume. And then the fourth week is nothing. And the fifth week is also nothing. So fourth and fifth week, there are no news events. But the first 3 weeks of May should be good, right? NFP, interest rates, and FOMC, and then CPI and retail sales. Yeah, CPI, retail sales, and PPI. This is a heavy week, a very heavy week, the third week of the month, right? And fourth and fifth week, there is nothing. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're pushing past. We're heading to 3427. Once we get there, I said we should easily get a 1,000 pip candle today, so we should get to 3427 pretty easily, without any issues at all. That's just 30 pips, 35 pips away, and then we should also be able to get to 3437 comfortably. All right. See you guys tomorrow 7:30 a.m. EST. All right, take care. Don't overtrade, don't over risk. See ya.